All right, so today I wanted to go from where we took off last time. Welcome back, by the way. I'm Logan from LHUGUENY channel, and we've been working on my original animated series pilot. And so last time we did the front angle for Sheila, which took way longer than I thought. So I'm going to quickly recap what we did last time. Here is Sheila's front angle next to her side angle. This is what we all did. This is what we all did last time. I did it with your help. It's all rigged up, ready to go. Since that last live stream, I became an introverted hermit, and did the front rigs for Corkscrew and Bushy, not on a live stream. And speaking of hermits, you know, my name Logan in Gaelic means cave dweller, I believe, so it's appropriate. So here's Bushy, front and side. And then I'll show you guys Corkscrew. Front and side, what do y'all think? You can hear a little bit of a robot's voice. Yeah, I don't know why I have... Okay, so I don't know if... Is my mic okay enough for you guys to... Yeah, there's like a robot voice. It's weird. But you guys can... It's still okay if like you can understand me well enough to make this live stream worth it. You guys tell me. I need to know. I'm waiting to see the comments. I think there's a bit of a delay, so... Is my voice tolerable? Okay, cool. I love you guys. Thanks to Flapjacks. Alright, well, so there we go. So today I wanted to do a test, because before I do too much animation, I wanted to do some combinations of things, some live action elements that to not just make it feel like too like vector based, too like flash animation. I know that sometimes I will add like an explosion or a lens flare in After Effects, like a realistic explosion. But this I wanted to go kind of even further. This project just means a lot to me. So, for example, for example, like their home island, I designed it. It's all, you know, it's all done in Flash. I mean, there's some blurs done in After Effects, but this is actual black sand beach texture. So like that way, it's just more of a texture, you know, kind of intermixed with animation. It just kind of gives it more of an interesting feel. I don't know. You know, I see the Story of Undertale people getting wild. You know, I did sing the entire Story of Undertale underwater. I mean, I can actually edit that together and like an entire video if you want for the 10-year anniversary. I just wasn't sure you guys were still that crazy about it. But anyways, you guys keep talking about that. I'm going to talk about the plan here. So, anyways, that being said, I wanted to integrate other live action effects, and so I'll get back into like how I'm going to do that. So there's a scene where, so I'll go through like some concept art. You know, here's a scene of Sheila and Bushy surfing, just enjoying their lives back on their home island. And then here's a scene from the end. This is like the big climax when Bushy's climbing up a rocket to disable it before it turns the entire. It deploys a massive, like, weapons of massive destruction type device that turns everyone in the world bananas. But this third piece of concept art is before that, when they go to rescue Sheila and they're being shot at from a bunch of lasers on Dr. Bogart's fortress in the middle of the ocean, where he's keeping Sheila hostage. So I thought it would be interesting. I'm really inspired by a lot of the nature of where I live, and so I was thinking, like, you know, I really wanted to do something like, I don't know, like I didn't want him to be just like too weak. Like Dr. Bogart's just got all of this technology, you know, other than him being a crazy banana, that's the only organic part of him. He's just got robots, he's got, you know, lasers, he's got, you know, missiles, he's got, you know, weapons of mass destruction. So I was like, well, what if they sort of had like an aircraft carrier, but it's like a whale, and Corkscrew is almost like a fighter jet. So here's like a close-up of it, and that's how they approach. So before that scene that concept art I showed you that I'm flying, like this is how they like take off of like a humpback whale, and there's actually like a little yellow tang who's like the carrier handler directing them. I do a lot of like snorkeling around here, so like yeah, it's, you know, aircraft carrier, whalecraft carrier. So yeah, we have a lot of humpback whales here, and I've seen them in person on the surface. I've never seen them under the water, but they're pretty rad, and they're just really inspiring. So I, you know, after seeing many jump out of the water here, I decided to animate this fella. He doesn't really speak, but I just call him Larry. I don't know why. He doesn't speak in this episode, but and then yeah, so you know, aircraft carrier handling officers are these people that, you know, direct the aircraft. Damn, sorry, I put my phone in airplane mode, distracting me. And these guys are always like wearing yellow suits. So I was thinking, you know, since you know, they all get along with fish and stuff, but you know, I always see like these tangs where I live when I go snorkeling. And they just reminded me of these dudes on the aircraft carriers, so I animated a tang to be the whalecraft carrier handler. And so, going back to the idea of animating a scene with like real footage, I was thinking I wanted to do a test before I do like the entire scene where there's like a bunch of different shots. So, what if I did a scene where it was like almost like the camera was like you know, you sometimes see shots where the camera's like, you know, like the bottom third of the frame is like under the water, but the top 2/3 are above water. So like, what if I like did a scene like that that introduced like the whalecraft carrier with Corkscrew and Bushy on it and the tang directing them, and that's all animated, but then underneath it's actually like real life underwater. So I got some footage. Where did I put it? I want to show you. Yeah, I got some footage with my 4K GoPro, and I was like, what if I put this underneath that? So, but before I, you know, just commit to that fully, I wanted to test it. So I animated just a single surface shot of them, and exported it as PNG sequences, and I was gonna do a test run right now and throw it into After Effects and see if we could make it work. So here we go. So I got After Effects open. This is a 4K composition. So if you know, if you want your stuff in 4K, you know, I hope that I make all my animations now as of the past few videos, even musicals in 4K, and I'm glad, because you know, if this ever made it to like a film festival or something as an original project, you know, even if it's just one animated short, that, you know, that would be cool, and I think that would be a requirement anyways. But so the width is 3840 pixels by 2160, 24 frames per second. Okay. So, first things first, I'm going to bring in I exported out of Adobe Animate the scene as 7 layers so that I could mess with them individually in After Effects. So, throwing these in here, and I'm throwing them into After Effects. I'm going to make the entirety of this composition, the same length as, so I guess it's 7 seconds. So I did 7 seconds. So I have, it looks all messy, you know, like on that, there's that right quarter of the timeline is just open for no reason. So make it 7:21 there. So there you have it. And yeah, After Effects is obviously running pretty slow. It's not happy. It's 4K, and I think I need to get a better computer. But in time. But you see that bottom area? So that's empty. So I'm going to first make some changes to these animated sections, and then I will see how the light action bottom layer works. So so the first thing I want to do is zoom in, make sure this all looks good at 100%, because right now I'm at 50%, so I can't even really see the details. It's looking good. Alright. So the first thing I want to do is put a light little directional blur on the transparent waves, so that way the part with the color gradients that go from, like, if you can see around here, from here to here, I'll zoom in, there's like a gradient that goes from like 100% blue all the way to 0% blue, and I just want to make sure that doesn't, there are no like lines or vector, and it's just smoother, so then when it's overlaid over the live action footage, it looks better. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Effect, and I'm going to put Blur, and I'm going to put a directional blur, and I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to have it be in the direction that the water is moving, because the water is moving from right to left. And let's see, I want to do it not too much. Sorry, I'm going to lose my face here for a second as I'm like staring deep into the screen. Yeah, I think with 12, maybe a little bit more. Yeah. And what we want to be careful about is that you might have to make that layer a bit like bigger, because you'll see here I made it slightly larger. Like I made it like 101% scale, because at 100% once you start adding blurs, like the blur like shifts into the frame, so you want it from like the edge, so if that makes sense. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the second layer of water. Probably scale that, so I'm going to do less of a blur because it's further behind. I'm going to scale that up to maybe like 100.9%. And then just do the same thing, but maybe less intense. Maybe, what did I do for the last one? Maybe 16. Let's try 8. Yeah, that's good. Maybe 8's even too much. Like 6. Also, it's not just for it to. Oh, thank you so much, Minecraft Gamer, for the donation. That's incredibly kind of you. So yeah, it's not just so that the gradient is smoother and less vector based, but also so that the I want to make the furthest in the foreground layer of water, be more blurry than the one that's a little further away, because as we're focusing on the whale and Bushy and Corkscrew and the yellow tangfish, that's where our focus is. So naturally, like the things that's closer to us would also be more blurry, and sort of like it gives more of a depth of field, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna zoom back now. They're all good. I also want to do more like dramatic lighting on the main characters on the as well as the whale's back, but I just want to make sure that this whole theory of putting that live action underwater footage actually looks good. So now I will go to the final one, ocean layer. I believe it's this one. Yep, there it is back there. Maybe just put like a teeny tiny directional blur on that guy. Maybe like 3%. Oh yeah, I also gotta scale it up so it doesn't come out of the frame. Let's double check that it's not. Nope, they're all in the frame. Good. And, alright, so let's zoom out. Whoops. Sorry, sometimes jumping between Animate, Flash, GarageBand, and now live streaming, OBS, I tend to just go on autopilot and forget what programming I'm in, so I just moved that layer by accident. Anyways, staying on track here. All right, layer 5, we got that cloud. I think that cloud looks way too clean, and plus it would be in the distance. I want to put some blur on that, but I think for this I will put a Gaussian blur instead of a directional blur, because it's not really like, the blur is not really in a specific direction. By the way, Danielle and Ben, can you make Alien Earth music video? You know, it's tempting, but because I'm a big Alien fan, but honestly, I think I would redo an Aliens remake first, because Aliens, the second one, is like one of my favorite movies of all time, just periods, hands down. But not, you know, I see where you're coming from. All right, I want this blur on the cloud to not be like too much, but I don't want the cloud to be like too distracting either. It looks like the average. Yeah, I think that's good. Now, the other thing that's really important to get a blur on, I think, is, well, yeah, both the sun, because I have like a vector-based color gradient on it, so I want to make sure that the vector color from very almost white to yellow doesn't come out too liney. So I am going to scale up the sun to like 101 to be safe. And I will put another Gaussian blur on this guy. Don't need it to be too much. Let's zoom in. I don't think I'm seeing any vector lines, but I'm seeing some vector lines coming from the back layer, which is, you see back in the back, it's the sky. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to scale it up. 101, and yeah, I think this one has like the most dramatic vector-based color gradient, so I'm gonna really need to blur that explicit delete it out of this thing. So let's see. Let me just zoom in while I'm doing this. Let's make sure there's no. Better not see. Okay. I mean, it's not that, but I feel like on a big screen or like a theater screen or even like a big screen TV, you would see those vector lines. So I'm going to turn this bad boy up like at least 20. Yeah. All right. Now I think that's everything. Now's the moment of truth. I got some other things I want to, or no, I take that back. The moment of truth is adding the water underneath. But before we get to that, I wanted to have the whale shoot a water spout at one point, maybe like later. See, it doesn't get too redundant and boring, even though this is just a test. You know, I don't like to hold on single shots for too long, and this is like literally the camera's like barely moving. It was just for this test, but on the note of adding realistic elements, I wanted to do like a water spout out of the top of the whale. The whale's got, if I zoom in here, you will see the whale has a blowhole. So there's a company where I get my explosions and muzzle flashes and smoke and like realistic things that you see that I sometimes incorporate with the musicals that I've done before. Most of those I get from a company, and they give you a license with it called Video Copilot Action Essentials. So one is called Water Blast, and I think it looks good for like a whale shooting. Okay, so let me double check what the whale layer is. So we want it behind it. There it is. All right. So before this, I should do motion tracking to so then I don't have to like individually go through the frames and have that water layer follow him. So to do that, I'm going to go to New, Null Object. I put that over here by where I want it to start blowing. And then within the layer of the whale, which is layer 4, right? Yeah. No, layer 3, excuse me. I want to go to animation, truck motion. There we go. Move the tracking point over the blowhole, because that's what I'm trying to track, so I can put the... And then I have to click this play button first to analyze the motion. That is what I forgot to do. And see there, it's now it's automatically tracking it, and then I will then show you how I get the water to follow that. Okay. And edit target, it would be no, because that's that blank layer. Click apply. Excuse me, I have sniffles. There's been storms where I live. I'm lucky I got this underwater footage before the storms roll in, but it's been a lot of like pesticides and stuff spraying around outside, and dirt and volcanoes going off on the other side of the island. Alright, now let's do this water blast. So now I'm going to put the fountain of water coming out of the whale's blowhole. So we'll make sure I line it up. Oops, why are you... I should lock every other layer so I stop moving stuff. Where does it start blowing? Sorry. There. Because it doesn't necessarily... Okay, there. I'll have it set right there. And then I'll have it line up with the whale's blowhole. And then I will use this little tether object, and I will tether this to the null object, which is tracking the whale's movement. So, as you will see, I don't have to manually move it every single frame. It already knows where to go every single frame. After Effects is very slow rendering things in 4K. Alright. Good enough. This is still just a test, so you know, I think I would like a bigger fountain, more dramatic spray, but I'll have to look into that. I'll either have to like put up a green screen myself and shoot some water straight up, or try to see if I can license something else. I mean, or I'll just animate it with water, but I just kind of like this, since, as you'll see with the next step, I'm trying to sort of integrate live action, little tidbits here and there with the animation. I think it's important to keep that. Alright, so time to bring in the water. Like the live action water that I filmed. Let's see how it looks. Oh, not bad, but I want to move it closer to the surface because I was filming. I went in the water at sunset. Even though there's sharks and stuff out there, whatever. YOLO. Let's see. Yeah, not too shabby, right? I mean, the lighting doesn't work. I almost should have filmed it later at sunset, but I just get sketched out, like swimming deep out there. Because that's when the sharks feed and stuff. But I think it... Yeah, I mean, I won't really know how to like render it. Let's see. Let me like zoom in more. Just so I know where to position it, because I'm only using part of... like there-ish. Let's compare it. Yeah, it blends pretty well, actually. It's better than I thought. Alright. So obviously I have to render it out. Oh shit, I just made that by accident. And I just said I just said SHEET, not the other thing. Just for censorship people out there. That was an accident. I was talking about bed sheets. Not. Alright. Yeah, it's almost like... yeah, unfortunately, the sun layers look like they're coming more directly. They need to put more of a vertical angle, but I think but it's at least now I know it's worth it. I can commit to this. I'll just go out and film. Once the storm ends, I'll go like later during sunset when it's more at an angle, or just or I guess I can move the sun slightly more to the center of the frame in the animation, whatever works better. So we got that done. There's just two other things I want to do to before we render this bad boy out and test it and say that, you know, this is a success or not. Oh my god, thank you, David Ferris, for that donation. I really, really appreciate it. I cannot, honestly, yeah, any support helps, because I, you know, working from project to project, and it's great. So, and it also just, you know, I'm glad to see that what I make is meaningful for you to even watch, let alone donate some money. So thank you. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is create a separate composition in which I can put the entirety of this composition and then put effects over it that will affect everything, not just individual layers. And the first thing I will do is generate a light ray on the sun. Just give it more of a glow. I'm not going to use motion tracking for this. The sun barely moves. I can just put a keyframe for the start and the end. Let's see. How's that glow looking? Is it too much? Is that not enough? Sorry, that was definitely. Alright. I think that's good. That's too much. A little bit more. And you can go like nuclear with it. Ah! No, let's tone it down. Calm down. This is professional setting, people. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to hit the center. Alright. Yeah, okay. That's good. I think from there. Now I'm going to put a keyframe for the center. And then the sun moves backwards, so I'll move the center backwards. And maybe I'll push the center forwards, because I don't know, you'll notice that here that sometimes if you oh, I didn't keyframe the center, whoops. If you on a light thing like this, if you push it in like past, like it'll create this like weird like spotlight effect. So so I still want it to be in the entirety of the frame, but just at the edge. So that way as we go through, I don't know why this thing is moving so slowly. Yeah. So we go through, that spotlight will continue, but not to the point where it, like, sorry, the light ray will continue, but not to the point where it, like, spotlights itself. And then the last thing I wanted to add, I mean, it's turned out so well, I want to, like, animate some splashes behind the tail of the whale when he's, like, I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do with this. I just don't want to commit to, like, over-animating this and then having this, like, live-action integration not work out, so, like, everything else would have felt like a waste. There's a little bit of a lens flare. Might be too corny, but let's just see, you know, it's, let's treat ourselves, you know. Oh, I did not mean to move the entire frame. Lens flare. It's like kind of too much, but I kind of like it. So maybe what I will do is just turn it down. Like 60, maybe like 75%, but then as they move away from the sun, well, the lens flare will move with the sun. And that you can move out of the frame on like the light ray without it like turning all cuckoo bananas and turning into a spotlight. But typically as the light source moves out of the frame, it should also produce less of a lens flare. So I'll like lower it to like minimal 33%. All right. Let's then render this bad boy out, and then so yeah, when you want to render these things, you put it into so it's composition 2 is the one which has the first one in it with all the initial files, and then do things overlaid. You know, go take it into the render queue, and yeah, all the settings are good, I believe. Ah yes, I've been using Apple ProRes 422 HQ lately. I don't need any audio output because there is no audio, it's just a test. And yeah, click render. All right. Shameful truth. I was afraid that if I rendered this out on the live stream, it would crash out the live stream. So like I already did a test one of these earlier, but it was the exact same process. So let's take a look at the finished product. And there it is. There it is. I'm feeling it. Thought I just saw some weird glitch in the lighting, but like all in all, I think this is worth sticking to for the water shots. There's a couple shots where Bushy's gonna hit the water, and like yeah, you know, most of the water shots are above water when they're surfing and stuff. But there's gonna be, other than this, 2 shots that, based on the storyboard and script I have right now, they're underwater, so I can like really like commit to this now. And now I feel like it'll be worth it for me to like add some more dramatic lighting of like the sun on the whale's back, more prolonged shadows, and then for like the close-up shots of them. Again, sorry for my sniffling. It's not contagious over live stream. Where did I put it? So yeah, I can like really. So I don't have like the flash file open, so, but yeah, really put like more dramatic light behind them and dramatic like darkness, like to match the sunset, like sorry, the darkening sky in front of them, like so like more like purple shades outlining the front of Corkscrew and Bushy in the back of the Tang. And then bright yellows and oranges on the left of them. Yeah. All right. Well, I was really happy. This turned out great. And thank you all so much for showing up. So yeah. To everyone. Yeah. I don't know why my mic is doubled. I have no idea why. Let me check OBS. I mean, better late than never. Is my mic not doubled now? Just so I know for next time. I know that like I already did the whole stream doubled. Let me test listen to myself. But yeah, I think I fixed the mic. Dang it. Damn it! At the end of the stream. Okay, well, I promise next time I won't have a double mic. Oh, God, I'm starting to get the sniffles. Sorry, guys. Alright, sorry. I just gotta blow my nose. Forgive me. Alright, and then now I'm gonna do a little Q&A. And Whitney's gonna come on the next Q&A. This just was gonna be a short little stream because it's been a long day and a long going on. But so was there ever a period of time? So there's a short period of time where someone asked, was there ever a period of time where you hated Sue, like the first years after it came out and got crazy hated by the Undertale community? I mean, I didn't hate it. I liked it. I mean, I'd rather get people absolutely hating my work than a lukewarm response. That being said, it was so hated at the beginning that I was literally getting death threats, like a lot of them. Like, people were sending me like messages of how to tie a noose and like how I should hang myself, or like the appropriate numbers of like pills I need to like commit suicide, like crazy stuff like that. I mean, there's like hating on stuff, but then I mean, I don't know. I think it was a little over the top, but you know, it's, you know, it is what it is, and that's whatever. People love it so much now. I mean, it was worth it. I mean, it's, you know, psychologically I can handle it. I mean, the crazy people on the internet. I mean, what do you expect? We've all known that, you know. I mean, I grew up in London when you know, people used to follow me in the streets and well, I don't know if London's safer now or not. I mean, but last time I went in the before in 2019, it was a lot safer. But when I was growing up as a kid, you know, there are like a lot of like muggers and stuff. So like people just saying crap on the internet, like who cares? Versus like, you know, threats of actual physical violence. How old is Whitney? Whitney is 39 years old, just like me. We're both 86, baby. Have you recovered any old files from your hard drive? Actually, so I have my old hard drive that is damaged, but I'm going to have a specialist look at it. It's in a storage unit, and I am actually planning next month to grab that, so I should be able to get it. And if I can, I will literally just give away all the Sue files if I can get it off of there. It's such a tragic tale. I don't want to start getting into it, but I guess, you know, if there's anyone to sympathize, it's you guys. I just had this crappy landlord during COVID, and we just had so much bad luck with rentals during COVID. So that's why yeah, I'm happy that we're in such a stable situation now, in such a peaceful place in Hawaii. Let's hear. Anyone else upload more to Patreon? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna some people have been asking for the UTY, like just the actual like animation files themselves. I'll throw those up there if you guys want. You're still gonna it won't have everything, because then they're like the After Effects files. I guess I could throw those up there too, because basically the UTY files, just like with this, you know, everything I animate in Flash, I then throw into After Effects to some degree or another. So I'll like export in a certain layer. So you'll see in the animation files, if when I put them on Patreon, that like there are certain things that like certain effects that like aren't yet there. What happened to the Indominus Rex in Spino series? Hey Spino, what's Rexy up to today? It's like, I don't know, gee, hey, you little bastard, shut the hell up. The Rexian pals, that was fun. I'd like to do that again. I almost preferred doing it with just like the actual puppet figures than the animated. It was just so goofy. We got like basically like paid up front to do those shorts. I'd like to do it again. I'm just putting as much as I can into Bushy Tales, because it is just like fully original, something that I have literally just had sitting in my head. Actually, what I should do next time is I should show you guys. It wasn't at all the same storyline, but Bushy was the same character. His name was Fox Cunningham. I pitched it to Nickelodeon and got pretty far along. I think some other people were pitching to the same programs, called like the Nickelodeon Shorts program, where they would have people come in and pitch like to make like a 2-minute short with their team, and then they'd select like a couple of them to then go to like pilot, and then go to full series. And the version, so I basically, the only thing that's the same as this is the Fox character, Bushy, but his name is Fox Cunningham. I could go through and like show you guys the storyboards that I pitched. I think Max Giardi, Hot Digity Demon, took part in that as well. Some other people. I think Zach Hadel was there. Zach Hadel was Psychic Pebbles. I don't know if he pitched into that, but I think he was like storyboarding for like SpongeBob at the time too. It's weird how like how small the animation community is. How old is Whitney? I already answered that. She's 39 years old, even though just like me, we're both 39. We're like almost exactly the same age. Please tell me you didn't overwrite the Frisk FLA with the game accurate one from Bendy. No. The Frisk FLA still exists. The Bendy versus Undertale is its own separate file. LHUGUENY makes a musical where the dinosaurs are free and hunting. That's not even like a question. That just sounds cool. Yeah. Anyways, it's so funny. I think we would have gotten Bushy Tales over the Loud House. I pitched Bushy Tales. So the Loud House was part of the shorts program, and Loud House was pitched the year prior because they'd have one of these like every year. And I actually pitched a show about my dog Apollo, and so yeah. Yeah, at the same time as I was Chris Savino, I think is his name, made Loud House. He was in there. I don't know, within a week of me in Mary Harrington's office in the Nickelodeon Burbank office, pitching Loud House when I was pitching a show about my dog Apollo. God rest his soul. And yeah, Bushy's kind of a. And I remember I got invited to the screening like at the Nick office in Burbank where they showed all the 2-minute shorts that they like funded and produced in-house, including Chris Savino's finished one. And then yeah, but my one about Apollo didn't get as far as Bushy, which was done as Fox Cunningham did. Yeah, and they offered me a job. Basically they said they wanted me to have more experience in the studio, so like they would be willing to take Fox Cunningham the next year, but they wanted me to work as an assistant director first for a whole year there. But that would mean I would have to quit YouTube fully, and I'm really glad I didn't do that. I mean, I'll never know what would have happened. I like the freedom, and I think that back then, I mean, this is over 10 years ago, that traditional television really didn't understand YouTube and really didn't have faith in YouTubers not being able to work within their world. And but now, if I make this pilot on my own, I'll still do the musicals, but there's also a possibility. It's much more likely that if it's successful and people like it, that a network would like just pick it up right away, versus making me like jump through more hoops, as you've seen other people have done with at least I don't know the full story, but Michael Cusack and Zach with Smiling Friends, and Vivian Medrano, just as two examples. But we'll see. That's just one day at a time. Well, anyways, I should probably get going, but I want to thank you all so much for coming today, and thank you so much for supporting my channel, whether you're new here, you've been here since the very beginning. It just means the world to me that, even one person would enjoy anything I make, let alone, the millions of you that do, and thank you so much for, supporting something that I'm doing original, like this thing right now, because I've really wanted to make this for a long time, and even if I go back to making musicals like forever after this, just have this one done will like feel really good for me. Like instead of taking a vacation, I'd rather just like make this. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Someone else is getting. There's a bit of a delay. Darren James says you didn't answer any of my questions, but that's fine. All right, Darren. What's your question? There's a delay, so I can't. I'll take one or two more questions. Maybe I'll just scroll up and see. I just feel bad. You guys are all hanging out here. I don't want to like make you feel like. Oh, Spookiopath. Do you have a favorite character of the ones you made for Bushy Tales? Who was only ever revealed in this stream, and I'm really in love with the Tang. I mean, I think it's Bushy's just my favorite. Not just because he's the protagonist of the show. I don't know. It's just. But you know what? Maybe once it's finished, I'll have a better idea. I mean, I also really love Corkscrew, but you know, my dog Apollo, like Bushy's sort of like a fox version of my dog Apollo, and Apollo was like everything to me, and then his personality and his voice is also like, I don't know, like a mixture of Apollo and myself, but also a little bit crazy and Australian. But okay, what is the song? Darren James finally. Okay, what is the song Poppy Playtime musical based off of? Poppy, that is an original song. I wrote that completely myself. It is an instrumental I wrote myself on a 6-hour flight. I had a little MIDI keyboard. I was probably pissing off the person sitting in the seat in front of me for 6 hours. God bless him. Out there was someone who had to deal with me tapping on a MIDI keyboard on the tray table behind them, and I composed that song during a 6-hour Delta flight. I think from like Boston to LA. Yeah, it just came to me. I mean, the lyrics are obviously based on just Poppy Playtime, but the instrumental is just fully original. Can you continue Black Ops 3 Zombies again, please? Answer me, please, Flapjacks. Perhaps. I do miss the Black Ops era, but I just... For me, Black Ops 2 was just like, I'm not talking smack. I mean, this is just subjective, but for me, the Black Ops 2 era, the Black Ops 2 Zombies era was like just peak. The community was just nuts. Like the characters that they would add, I love like Russman and Marlton and just that whole crew, Richtofen and but maybe I have ruled nothing out. So. Anyways, I love all of you guys so much. Thank you again so much for all of your support, and I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.